4 habits that specifically target belly fat. 2 of them you might already be doing without knowing it is working. The other 2 fit inside the window between dinner and sleep. No gym, no extra appointments, no overhauling your week. Earlier this week, we covered why belly fat doesn't respond to fasting the way the rest of the body does. The cortisol and insulin mechanism. But today is the practical piece. If the belly hasn't been moving, despite everything you have been doing, this is why and this is what to do instead. The first habit, I want to reframe this completely. When people say post-meal walk, most of us here put on your trainers and go outside. If you have just made dinner right, sorted the kids, and you have got dishes to do and a house to manage, that's not happening. We all know that. So stay in the kitchen instead. After eating, your blood glucose raises. Your body raises insulin to manage it. But here is what's specific to belly fat. Visceral fat cells have a higher concentration of insulin receptors. They are highly responsive to insulin. When insulin spikes, they absorb and store readily. But if you move even slightly in the 20 to 30 minutes after eating, your muscles start using that glucose before insulin has to manage it all. The spikes then becomes lower. The insulin response is lower, and the signal to your visceral fat to store is quieter. A 2023 study from Columbia University found that 5 minutes of light movement every 30 minutes after eating reduced blood glucose spikes significantly more than sitting for 3 hours. 5 minutes, the kind of movement you are already doing in your kitchen. Personally, I do not take a walk after dinner. Yes, I stand up and I do the dishes. I tidy the kitchen. I move around the house sorting the evening. This is the post-meal movement. If you're already standing up and doing the dishes after dinner, you are already doing this. You just didn't know it had a name. The second habit is this, and this is not about eliminating carbs. The height of your glucose spike after meal depends on what you are eating and how much of it. High glycemic carbs spike quickly and high. The smaller carbs portion, with eating your protein first, slow your glucose absorption and lowers the peak. Lower peaks means lower insulin demand. Over time, a consistent low insulin demand changes how much your visceral fat is being stimulated to store. I haven't cut out carbs totally. I have reduced the carb portion of my meals. I eat my protein first, which slows how quickly the carbs absorbs. Not tracking, not protocol. Just less carb than I used to have, and a protein on the plate every time I have a meal. Then third is the eating cutoff. I stop eating 2 to 3 hours before bed. During deep sleep, the stage where the most repairs happens, your body releases growth hormone. And growth hormone protects fat metabolism, but elevated insulin suppresses growth hormones release. So when you eat close to bedtime, insulin is still high as you enter sleep, and that suppresses kick in. Your body needs a period of low insulin going into the night. 2 to 3 hours give insulin time to return to baseline before sleep begins. And here is the second mechanism. Late eating slightly raises your body temperature and activates the stress response, which means cortisol at night going into sleep. And as the Wednesday video this week explained, cortisol is the primary hormones keeping belly fat in the first place. The eating cutoff I just described is a quick intervention. It starts working the same night you begin. The fourth is the one most people overlook because it is not about how long you sleep, it is about when. Cortisol follows your sleep-wake rhythm. It anchors your circadian cycle. When your wake time shifts, late on weekends, earlier on weekdays, your cortisol cycle cannot settle into its natural pattern. It compensates by staying elevated longer during the day. And with chronically elevated daytime cortisol, belly fat stays protected. A consistent wake time is the most powerful level of anchoring the cortisol cycle. More powerful than the time you actually go to bed, because wake time sets the whole rhythm. I protect my wake time even after a late night because I'm not just resting, I'm regulating the hormonal environment that determines where my body stores fat. None of this requires adding a new block of time to your week. Post meal movement, you are in the kitchen anyways. Reducing carb load. It is a portion decision, not a diet protocol. Eating cutoff. It is a time decision, not a food decision. Protecting your sleep window. One consistent anchoring point. It is your wake time. All of what I just described works because they changes the insulin and cortisol environment directly. They are not general wellness habits. They are targeted at the specific mechanism that makes belly fat accumulate and stay. So start with one. The eating cutoff is probably the most immediately actionable. It costs nothing, it requires no equipment, and it starts working the same night you start. If you want the full metabolic recovery framework, the stage approach that ties all of this together, it is available as a free guide. The link is in the description. Drop a comment below. Which of these are you already doing without knowing it was working? I want to know. Subscribe if you are not already. The video next Wednesday goes deep on one specific part of insulin piece, the signal your blood panel probably isn't showing you. I will see you then.